Now hush, little baby, don't you cry. Everything's gonna be alright.
The first light of dawn peeked through the curtains, illuminating a cozy kitchen with a soft golden glow. One stood at the stove, her hair tousled from sleep, wearing Jungkook's oversized t-shirt that wrapped over her like a second skin. She hummed a gentle melody as she flipped pancake, her movement graceful and effortless. Jungkook emerged from the bedroom, his eyes still heavy with sleep, but a smile tugging at the corner of his lips as he took in the sight before him. When bathed in morning light and radiating warmth is a vision of beauty that took his breath away. He wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. Her figure stiffened for a second because of her past traumas. Maybe she wasn't used to someone touching her, but she calmed down when she guessed who the person is. Good morning, love. Jungkook greeted her with his voice slow and husky with sleep as he could feel her stiffness and then go back to calm again. He turned her around. Jungkook, what are you afraid of, Principessa? He said in his deep, husky voice. But Wine couldn't find the words to explain the sudden rush of fear that had overcome her. Her mind clouded with uncertainty and doubt. She shook her head, her lips trembling as she struggled to articulate the overwhelming emotion coursing through her. I don't know, she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper as she buried her face in Jungkook's chest, seeking a solace in his embrace. And as they stayed together in the quiet embrace of the morning, Wine felt the tendrils of fear begin to loosen their grip on her heart, replaced by the warmth and love radiating from Jungkook's embrace. I may not have chosen this arranged marriage, Wine, but I choose you, he declared, his voice filled with conviction, and I promise to stand by you, to support you, and to love you with all that I am for as long as we both shall live. He lifted her up and made her sit on the counter. Then he cupped her cheeks. Jungkook, you look good in my clothes, Wine smiled and Jungkook pressed his fingers in her hair and looking deep in her eyes. Jungkook, how was your sleep, Wine? Good, she said in a soft voice, biting her lower lip. He leaned and kissed her on her forehead. She closed her eyes tightly. They both got involved in their non-stop talks when Jungkook reminded her, Jungkook, it's a business party tonight. We're invited. Be ready to sorrow. Wine nodded in agreement. Wine, go get freshened up. I made pancakes. I'll arrange the plates. Jungkook turned to leave. Wine, put me down first. Jungkook laughed. He lifted her up and put her down. After that, he went to get freshened up. They did their breakfast and left for his office. Time skip at night. Descending the stairs with grace and poise, Wine heart skipped a beat as she caught sight of Jungkook waiting for her outside, his eyes all light with admiration as he took in her beauty. The sight of him, dressed in a shop suit and leaning casually against the sleek lines of car sent a thrill of excitement coursing through her veins. Jungkook's breath caught in his throat as he whined, stepped out in the evening air, a radiance illuminating the darkness like a beacon of light. He couldn't tear his gaze away from her, his heart pounding with a mixture of awe and desire as he took in every exquisite detail. Wow, he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper as he reached out to take her hand, sending sparks flying between them. You look absolutely stunning, Principessa. A blush tinged Wan's cheeks as he smiled up at Jungkook, her heart fluttering with happiness at his words. Thank you, she replied, her soft and filled with warmth. But I think it's a dress that's stunning, not me. Jungkook shook his head, his eyes never leaving her as he spoke from the depth of his heart. No, Principessa, he said, his voice filled with sincerity. It's you, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. As he climbed into the car, he could sense her social anxiety. Whenever she's around people, she felt uncomfortable. Jungkook doesn't know why. She didn't even tell this to him, but he has sensed it whenever she's around people. He's waiting for her to open up herself whenever she feels comfortable. He fastened her seatbelt and whispered in her ears, Jackie, stay close to me. Wayne smiled at him and nodded. She always feels comfortable around him. After some time, they reached the location. Jungkook entered the party, interlinking his arm with his beautiful wife. He met his friends and greeted them. Wayne was getting bored. She didn't know anyone here. She decided to sit around somewhere and have some drinks. She asked Jungkook if she can sit somewhere. Jungkook nodded. He was talking with some businessman, but his eyes always held wine. His eyes didn't leave her for a moment. He knows she isn't familiar to these mafia parties. He also kept her away from the danger, but only parties.
Mark. Hey Jungkook. Someone captured Jungkook's attention. Mark and his wife who organized this party. Jungkook. Mark, congratulations on your big success. Yin Pav. Someone put a hand on Yin's shoulder. After so long, little girl. How are you doing? The same voice that gave her panic attack. Same voice that pushed her in the darkness. Yin was afraid she didn't want this to be true. She didn't want to turn around her face and saw the man who took her childhood, who stained her past. Yin trembled and looked at him. She stooped up from the chair. Luca, don't you want to greet your uncle? He said with a smirk on his face and put his hand under her chin. The echoes of laughter and music faded into the background as Yin found herself cornered by her uncle close to her. His eyes gleamed with malice, his intentions clear as day. You thought you could escape me, did you? He sneered, his voice dripping with venom as he reached out to grab Yin's arm. Yin, Dawn, don't touch me. Stay away, she said in her low voice and went away, From there most like run away. She didn't know where was she going suddenly. She collided with the waiter and drinks fell on her dress. She was already scared and trembling while waiting. Waiter, I'm sorry, miss. Bathroom is on the left way. Yin quickly left from there to the bathroom to make herself calm down. She still thinks that she was hallucinating or something. Her hands were still shivering. She held the door handle with her trembling hand and unlocked it. She entered the bathroom immediately. She had tears in her eyes. She was struggling to breathe. Yin, he is not here. This is all of your mind's play. Yes, he can't be here. She was continuously whispering this until the click sound was made, and when she looked in the mirror, he was here. Her nightmare was standing on the entrance. He took slow steps towards her. Luca, running from me, little girl. Don't be afraid, I'll never leave you. I heard you married a mafia, but sad. He couldn't save you from me again, he said with his most disgusted smile. Yin, don't come near me, she said with trembling voice. Luca, it already happened. Did you miss me? 'Cause I missed you. Your body, he said while touching her face. Yin turned her face to the side. Luca, Yin, you grown into a beautiful girl. When you were little, you remember I always came to your room whenever your dad left me with you. He was making her remember her dark past. I always turned off the lights of your room and you always tried to run away from the room, but you couldn't. Yin was shaking badly. He was so close to her. She was panicking. Her past was revolving in front of her eyes. Luca, Yin, you remember what I did to you. Let's do the same, but this time with lights on. But before he could touch her, he was pulled and thrown on the floor. Jungkook POV. While talking to Jack, he looked at Yin, who wasn't present there. He looked here and there and didn't found her. GK, I'll come in a second, he excused himself and went to look for Yin. He was trying to find her but saw her nowhere. When he made his way to the bathroom, he slowly took his steps to find her, but he heard some voices coming from the bathroom, and his blood boiled listening to the words. He went inside furiously and grabbed him from his neck and threw him on the floor. Yin slid down to the floor, shakingly. GK, how King dare you touch my wife? He was shouting while punching him. How dare you made her heart? His nose started to bleed. His face got bruised. You invited your death by touching what's mine. You be at starred. He was beating him mercilessly until he was unconscious, lying on the floor. You're not going to die easily. Your death will be painful that you'll wish for that. Jungkook looked at his back. Yin was on the floor. Her shirt was wet. Her breath was abnormal. GK. Yin, he went forward towards her. He holds her tightly. She tightened her fingers on his shirt not to leave him. Not anymore. You are not alone, Principessa. I am with you. No one can hurt you in this world. She was crying silently. He carried her in his arm and he held him tightly. She hid her face in his chest. He took her to his car and put her inside the car. He took out his cell phone and dialed a number. He told him something in Italian. GK, clear the mess and lock him up. Don't stop until I arrive. He cut the call and sat inside the car. He looked at her who was licking her lap and was crying. Jungkook got worried. He held her and brought her to his lap. He hugged her tightly. GK, I'm right here, Princesa. Cry as much as want on my shoulder, but not alone. You're not alone in this world. That nightmare is dead. You are free. Nobody is going to harm you until I am with you. He was saying words to calm her down. Yin looked up at him and saw in his eyes with her eyes full wet. Yin, I was afraid. I thought he will again, she said with hiccups. GK, not anymore. You're not alone. You're with me. I will always protect you. She put her head on his chest again. Didn't know for how long they was like this. He brought her to house and carried her to the bedroom. He didn't want to leave her alone in this situation. He meant what he said. She is not going to be alone in her life. He will fight with her nightmares too. GK, I'm always going to protect you. I promise you. As Jungkook held Yin close, his arms wrapped around her with a protective embrace, she felt the tension slowly begin to dissipate. The warmth of his presence, coupled with the soft cadence of his reassuring words, acted as a soothing balm to her frayed nerves. Yin looked at him and asked something which made him shocked. Yin, are you also going to take me as a disc streak now? She tightly closed her eyes. I also feel much disgusted. His hand around her tightened. GK, stop, he roared, listening to her. Never think about this again. Yin looked in his eyes. He softened, looking at her. He attached his forehead with hers. GK, I will never be disgusted with you, Principessa. You are the only one. Don't think about yourself like that. It was never your fault. I'll make sure that nightmare of yours will die 1,000 deaths. As Jungkook held Yin close, his arms wrapped around her with a protective embrace, she felt the tension slowly begin to dissipate. The warmth of his presence, coupled with the soft cadence of his reassuring words, acted as a soothing balm to her frayed nerves. With each gentle stroke of his hand against her back, Yin felt the knots of fear unraveling, replaced by a sense of calm and security that she hadn't felt since the ordeal at the club. She melted into his embrace, her body relaxing against his as she allowed herself to be enveloped in the safety of his love. In that moment of vulnerability and tenderness, their eyes met, conveying volumes of unspoken emotion that words could never capture. There, amidst the quiet intimacy of the night, they found solace in each other's arms, a connection that transcended the turmoil of the outside world. With a silent understanding passing between them, Jungkook leaned in, his lips brushing against Yin's in a gentle caress. It was a kiss born of shared experiences, a testament to the bond that had formed between them in the face of adversity. Yin responded in kind, her lips meeting his with a fervent longing that spoke of a deeper connection, a soul-deep understanding that defied explanation. In that moment, the world fell away, leaving only the two of them, bound together by the unbreakable threads of love and trust.